This is the Global Podcast Network, where executives and professionals connect, share, and inspire. Stay tuned for the conversations that drive success.
And welcome back, everyone. If you are looking to upgrade your living space, a lot of things you can do, and we've talked about that with her in the past, be it some major changes structurally, but that can also be a kitchen upgrade or changing the furniture. What about lighting? Lighting is, I'm going to say, almost everything. Certainly in the world of video and photography. Doesn't matter what kind of equipment you got or whatever wherever you're shooting it. If your lighting's not good, you got nothing. And we're going to talk about lighting today and how it can really pop up your living space. She is our professional of the year and the woman behind Tab Interior Designs. Trish Bonney is back with us. How you doing today?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. Boy, there's so much to talk about when it comes to lighting. This could go in any direction. Where should we start? What do you feel?
I mean, to start with, I would say probably the color of lights. That could change the whole outlook of your home.
Now, when we say the color of lights, it sounds like you're referring to the color temperature of the lights?
Color temperature, yeah. They're Kelvins. Okay. We want to get really technical, but when LEDs first came out, everybody complained because they were very cold and gave off like a blue or gray undertone.
Yep.
And a lot of businesses, they totally switched over to LED immediately, and going to work for 8+ hours a day, it was very dreary, and it doesn't do good for your psyche. It doesn't do well in your home either. But there are some people that swear by that color tone and love it. It seemed like it was still very popular in Europe for some reason. Every time I go over there, I still see that in a lot of homes. But there is like 3,000 and above, that like 3,000 Kelvins and above, that is where you're getting into those cooler color tones. The sweet spot is like 2,700, and you just have to look at the box on the bulbs or the light fixture itself. If it's got integrated LED bulbs, then I would just try to make sure you look for 2,700 Kelvins. That's where it's more warm and it just feels a lot better psychologically, physically looks a lot better as well.
I always get confused with the numbers and what it equates to in terms of the tonal quality of the light. So when we say 2,700, are we talking more of like a yellowy, a whiter, softer white? Where are we at with that? It's
a soft white. It's not yellow. When you start going below 2,700, it can turn more yellow.
Okay.
And, everybody goes back and forth with incandescent versus LED. Sorry. Incandescent, it's not your ideal, but there are going to be some light fixtures that will only allow for those types of bulbs. So just, again, pay attention to the Kelvins. I apologize.
It's cold and flu season, people. It's perfectly all right. The only difference is I have a cough button, so you don't. So
sorry.
All good.
And it's live. but yeah, your lights can really make or break a space. And it's like the jewelry of the room. So you want to start with the bulbs first. And then make sure you get the proper fixtures for the space. So if you have sloped ceilings, you have to make sure that they can integrate on a sloped ceiling.
It brings me back to back in the day, and I guess it started like in the 80s and then to the 90s. The hi-hat was such a big to do, and everybody's like, "Ah, you got hi-hats. Look at you." Or you doing a room over again, and then, well, I'm definitely putting hi-hats in there. Yeah, it's going to look great. And it was cool for a while, but then I think we realized, oh, all right, so we have lighting flushed, recessed in the ceiling. Convenient, you don't have things hanging down, but at the same time, it's just this harsh lighting, just like shining down on top of you. And I mean, it took years for it to kind of get old. I have this in my bedroom, and based on a conversation we had a while back, I actually put some table lamps on the nightstands. Whoa, what a difference! Like a different room. I don't even have to turn the hi-hats on. It's like, oh, I'm home again. They serve a purpose. I get it, but it's just so harsh. The lighting that comes from hi-hats, right?
And recessed cans, they are very inexpensive, but it starts to make your ceiling look like Swiss cheese. It's little holes in your ceiling, but it also, recessed cans give a cone of light. Whereas if you get a flush mount that hangs off the ceiling, typically there'll be the glass or the globe will be around the entire exterior of the bulb. So then the light diffuses much better. Whereas a recessed can, it's in a literally a can, so it only diffuses down in a cone. Um, Track lighting, it's nice because you can make it more directional and point it to what you want to illuminate. So track lighting is good for like artwork, for example.
Hmm.
Um, if you really want to specify a specific item, but at the same time, it's still kind of a cone or a beam of light, so it doesn't diffuse properly. That's why you go into a lot of showrooms and you'll see they've got tons of track lighting, but then you're like, I can't see anything in here. What color is this? Because the track lights themselves are pointing all in different directions, but not illuminating the things you really want it to show. Um, in my office, we have the flush mount ceiling, so it's giant square or rectangular lights. Um, but I have bulbs in them that they're 2900 Kelvin, which is probably the closest to natural light that you can get. So my office can get super, super bright,
Hmm.
but because it's a huge rectangle, it does illuminate a larger space. So when you're wanting to get decorative lights, like let's say over your island, um, for a very, very long time, pendants have been very popular, but they could be in different, like it could be a globe or it could be a cone of light or whatever. But now it seems like island lights are getting much more popular, which is a really long linear pendant. So it lights up the entire surface of your island, which is very
Hmm.
helpful. And people are finding that to be, they're liking that a lot more. It's a little different than a bunch of hanging lights as well.
So I want to share this because it was kind of a wow moment for me. But with the hi-hats, it's a screw-in bulb. That's the old school, what was up there. And I need to replace it. The bulb was an LED bulb. So I go to the large box home store, and now you can unscrew the bulb, and instead of screwing another bulb in, you can screw a fixture that replaces the bulb. So it's a different, and especially if you had hi-hats that you weren't using LED bulbs, you should be environmentally sound and also save you a lot of money. But here's the deal. The thing I got stuck up inside that can, I just took where the bulb screws in. They have something that screws in and the wire goes to the other fixture. But the amazing part is, Trish, they had the color temperature switch on the side. And right there, as I'm holding it, click, 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 click. Let me go back to it's probably a 2700, like you said. And then just took it and just literally just pushed it up and mounted it. Done, finished. And it's $10 a piece. Insane.
Yeah. Yeah, the prices are definitely, I mean, they used to be insane for LED bulbs,
Yeah.
and they've gotten so much more budget friendly. And you can use apps to change the color tones and everything. But there's companies that even I rely on that are specific for lighting to integrate it into your home, because now you can even have lights where it can help. I don't want to say control, but it does help with your circadian rhythm, which they help you wake up and they help you go to sleep. So the lights, the tone of the lights, and the volume of the light that it's outputting, it will actually go down as the sun is setting, and it'll rise and get brighter as the sun is rising. And you can even set like window coverings if you have shades. You can set automatic shades with the lighting as well to again help with your circadian rhythm. So lighting is becoming way more intuitive, but also way more tech savvy than ever has been. And like I'm working on a lighting plan for a new project right now, and there's so many things you have to figure out, like all the switches, what lights are dimmable, um, which ones aren't, all the bulbs that come with lights or they don't come with lights. So there's, aside from all of the technology that goes with it too, there's just so much that we have to think about when we're doing lighting plans.
So as I sit here, I open up an app and there's the rooms in my house and I just press a button. I can dim them from remote. I can set a timer. I can change the color if I want. And
Yeah.
inexpensive, actually. That particular one, I had some bulbs left over from a previous house. And now the app is even better, but I'm still able to address the older bulbs, which last forever. There were so many different manufacturers out there back like about 10 years ago, a little bit like 11 years ago. I got Philips Hue. It's kind of the only game in town, and it was pricey. Now there's so many different companies out there making them, and I'm a geek about this stuff. I love it. I'm, technology and all of that. They're all kind of on par with each other. You're not rarely going to find one, wow, that one's real cheaper and quality wise. No, it's really about the app, and most of them are like well designed, and you don't really have to do anything except, what are you doing? Turning it on, changing the dim, changing maybe the color temperature or the color of the bulb. That's another thing. Some bulbs I want red, I want white. It doesn't matter, whatever you want. It is fascinating what is available. So what if we looked at a room? Maybe you describe a certain room and what we want to be mindful of when it comes to lighting that room. Let's say we had no lights in it. We're starting fresh.
So the kitchen is probably kitchen and bathrooms. Those are your most important areas for lighting. Bathrooms in particular, like a lot of people would put the overhead sconce. The one thing about that is, as a woman who wears makeup, all you're doing is casting the shadow over my face. So like a shadow will appear under my nose, shadow will appear under your eyes. So you put on too much makeup, you look crazy when you walk out of there. What we have found is the lights that sconces or pendants that go about in this area, so it illuminates evenly throughout your face. You can still have overhead like recessed cans or flush mounts or whatever. As much light as you can add in a bathroom, that's great. What I love to do a lot lately is, if there's windows in an existing bathroom, I like to put a mirror in front of the window, because the natural light that comes out from behind the mirror is amazing. That's the best kind of light especially for putting on makeup. And you don't determine your lights just because of makeup, but that is a huge thing that's happening in a bathroom. But all of that is considered task lighting. In a kitchen, your task lighting is, you want to illuminate your countertops where you're prepping your food and you're setting the food out for people to eat. So even though pendants over an island or decorative lights over an island are decorative, they have to be for task. So you have to be very mindful of that. You will also have a lot of overhead light up on the ceiling for task. But that big place that has gotten way more popular and but sometimes forgotten is under cabinet lights. Because if you have upper cabinets over your countertop, there's a lot of shadow cast there and a lot of things that you can't see very well. So those under cabinet lights are very important and great for task as well.
Mm.
Lights under your hood, if you have a hood, or under the microwave, whatever is over your range. Those are all for task. Decorative lights, those just set the mood. So you don't have a lot of decorative light in either of those spaces.
So the under cabinet lights, back to the affordability here, you could even put LEDs underneath, even a strip of
Yes.
an LED strip, and put that underneath there and tack it in. It's got adhesive. We're talking $20 here, and the difference it makes is amazing. And if you get a little creative in terms of supplying power to it, many times in the cabinets, you have your microwave that's got to be plugged in with an outlet inside the cabinets. Yeah, there's a little hole here, a little there.
Yeah.
It's all typically low voltage. And I've even done this on top of my cabinets for a real, like, kind of cool pop, $20, and just ran the LEDs. I didn't even tack them in. You can't see the top of the cabinet. I just laid them in there and drilled a tiny hole and plugged it into the microwave outlet, and with a remote control. And then I didn't have it on all the time, but you want to press company and like press the button and you have like a purple light or whatever light color you want shooting up to the ceiling. So inexpensive, and what an impact that makes.
Right. And
right?
that one on top of the cabinets, that is decorative. So you can, like you said, make it so color changes and have fun with that.
Yep.
The ones underneath, just make sure that those are not the fun kind, but the task lighting kind.
Yeah. I mean, if you really want to be intentional, you would want to have a light here, a light here, a light here, because it's performing a task. If you're cutting something out of the cabinet or whatever it is. But again, lots of ways to get that done inexpensively. I'm not telling anybody, how to do it, but it's low voltage, so you don't really have to be an electrician. You're not going to get a shock. And typically it plugs into a little adapter that plugs into the outlet. But yeah, just get a little creative. There's so many different things out there. How about in a living room? How do you decide what to do?
Living room, the area that I live in, I don't know why. I guess I do, but there were no overhead lights put in the living rooms. Some people didn't even have them in their dining rooms, which is strange to me. But I guess when it's like a builder grade going over and over, they eliminated that for cost. But you should still have some overhead light in the living room, whether it be something that is minimally lighting up the area, because your living room is where you're having a conversation. You're watching TV. You're typically not performing a big task in your living room. So it can be more mood and more decorative than task lighting.
Mm.
But that's where, if you have a chair that you read at specifically, maybe get the proper lamp to provide that task light that you need. But if it's, if you're not reading in there, you're just having conversations or watching TV, those can be more decorative. And that's where you can have more fun. One big chandelier or a ceiling light fan fixture is fine. And then you can make it dimmable. So if you want it to be a more calm and moody type of situation, that's where, like I said, lamps, you can have a lot more fun as well. But I still believe in an overhead light in the living room.
So let's say in your living room, somebody's hearing this and they're saying, yeah, every time I go to read, I can't really see anything. And I just like to sit in this one. They've done research on this. I'm not even kidding. 90% of us sit in the same spot. Same thing with the living room. Same thing with the dining room. Same chair. That's your chair. So let's say you sit in the same chair and you're starting to read a little bit more. You don't really have sufficient lighting. So you don't have anything, a task light, as you say, above you. What can you do? I mean, I'm thinking like those old school lamps that go above you. I don't know, what's the
There
solution here?
is, I actually have one close by. One of those arm lamps, if I can get to it. Let's see.
Yeah, yeah, kind of what I was thinking. Yeah.
So this right here, it moves as you need it to. Um, it'll move up and down. It's got little adjustments so that it specifically goes where I need it. That's the type of task lamp that you want to get. I mean, there's even little teeny tiny LED lamps that clamp onto books, but
That's right.
those are that's good for an airplane or something like that.
Right. Or
But
even
you
laying in
can't-
bed, whatever it might be, or if you're going to
Yeah.
go in a different spot for a change and, it serves its function. But, I learned a
Right.
new term today. Task light makes perfect sense.
Yeah. And get the type that's adjustable if possible for lamps, because you want to make sure it moves with you as you need it.
Anything that we should mention when it comes to lighting that we didn't hit upon?
I think have fun with lighting. Let's get away from recessed cans. Maybe do some beautiful flush mounts that actually are more functional, that give off more lights instead of just a beam. Like I said, I'm working on a lighting plan right now, and luckily I have discussed with them. Yes, it's a little bit more. It might be $15 more per light fixture, but if you want it to be more effective, and it's actually prettier than a hole in your ceiling, we're doing flush mounts where cans typically were used. And I think that's just have some more fun, but also add more functionality.
Definitely have fun with. There's so many different lights when it comes to LEDs and some. I mean, yeah, got a TV in the other room in this studio, or another podcast studio over there. In back of the TV, we have LED lights around it, so it's got a little pop on the wall.
Yeah.
$18. And I love, when you look at language, back in the day, those lights in the ceiling we're referring to, we called them hi-hats. Hi-hats. Very positive. Hi-hats. Now they're recess cans. That's just funny. Like the way the terminology has changed, but but that's what they are now. It's just like, man, it's all right, gets the job done, but there's so much out there. And that's where you come in to guide us on that. Best way to reach you, your website, tabinteriordesigns.com?
Yes.
Awesome.
Yep, you'll find phone number, Instagram, all of our information there.
Doesn't matter if it's lighting, construction changes, kitchens, bathroom, whatever it is, you do it. You've got examples on the website too. And thank you very much for being here today. Really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it as well.
All right.
This is the Global Podcast Network, where executives and professionals connect, share, and inspire. Stay tuned for the conversations that drive success.